Welcome, everyone, to another episode of John and Dylan Online, a show where two comedians do half-assed research into bullshit from internet history. Fucking motherfuckers. I'm Dylan Gott. Joining me is my co-host and the man who will introduce the subject of the show, John Hastings.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. My name is John Charlie Sheen Hastings. I am covered in the HIV virus. I have just had sex with 11 crack rocks and 3 porn stars. Martin Sheen is my dad, and he makes very awkward interviews about my health case. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about winning. It's the Charlie Sheen Internet Meltdown. Holy fuck, Dylan, we got everything. We got Alex Jones. We got him just using a Jewish guy's bat mitzvah name in a very I don't like George Soros way. We've got a guy getting HIV. We've got a porn star. We've got a graphic designer. We've got Chuck Zito. We've got the Howard Stern Show. We've got a tour that Mark Maron worked on. We've got a tour that Russell Peters was a part of. We've got a tour that was a really bad idea. We've got a tour that Andrew Dice Clay said he wanted to open for. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about how the show 2.5 Men went from being real bad to sort of also even worse. Let's talk about the weird roast that he did. Let's talk about how Dylan isn't wearing any trousers because today is the Charlie Sheen Meltdown. Dylan, go ahead. Dylan, are you winning?
That Charlie
you have Adonis
Sheen...
DNA.
Do I have Adonis DNA? Well, here's the thing. Charlie Sheen, I would say, is a precursor to Donald Trump,
yes,
because he proves that if you are funny enough, your crimes don't matter.
It's not only that. It's not funny enough. If you are confident and you're attempting to be funny, and the key is, I watched all of the Charlie Sheen interviews. This is the key. You need to have a woman interviewer going, why? As he's going, winning, tiger blood, torpedoes of truth.
I found that I don't know what. So the Today Show interview, the man who introduced him on the Today Show is insane. The Today Show so glossy.
The Today interview is so crazy compared to the 2020. So there's 2 main interviews where all of the things from the Charlie Sheen Meltdown come from. We're sort of doing this out of order. We'll get to basically what happens is Charlie Sheen smoked so much crack he had a manic episode that he blames on testosterone cream.
I will give yes, he did blame it on too much testosterone. Here are some fucking sick ass fucking quotes. Keep in mind,
you know, John, the other thing he blamed it on.
Whenever anyone talks about how Charlie Sheen is a bad boy and whatever, here's one of the things. He like choked his wife. He fucking hit his wife while she was pregnant. So that's a bad boy. Now, you wearing a leather jacket? Ooh, you're a bad boy. I pushed a pregnant woman down the stairs. Also a bad boy. We're gonna get really non-specific about what makes someone a bad boy. Anyway, so he is a whole.
I'm a real bad boy. I like to take my ex-wife Denise Richards out for dinner and for no reason invite a porn star over and then change my hotel room so I'm on the same floor as my ex-wife, and then I'm gonna physically attack that porn star and get arrested.
Show her what she was missing out on.
Will my twin daughters be asleep in Denise's hotel room while all this happens? Of course. They need to know what it's like when a man acts correct.
Here are some of the. I should really have planned this better and just done like crimes with the funny quotes. But the lady was like, how much did you use the last time you used? That's my favorite thing. She's like, he was like, I don't know. I was banging 7 grab rocks and finishing them. I have 1 speed. Go.
Okay.
There is never. How did they put this man on television?
I'm going to say this right now. This is going to sound crazy, and I'm very lucky in that I have blessed in that I've had a cokehead as a close friend. I know someone who went through the late stages of cocaine addiction. And exactly the same as Charlie Sheen. Here's a couple of factors that no one took into account. 1, cocaine does not stay in your system to be drug tested. So the reason why he was passing all of those drug tests is he just called a sketchy doctor in Hollywood, which there are so many of, and just was like, how long do I have to wait to take a drug test between smoking big fat rocks of crack?
You don't even have to call. You don't have to call anyone. That was the thing about like all these roid tests and like John Jones in the UFC got tested positive for cocaine, and everyone was like, "That's fucked," because he just did cocaine then. Because it's like 12 hours.
Yeah, it's like the this podcast used to be a wrestling podcast. There's a wrestler called Tully Blanchard who tested positive for cocaine when he signed a contract, and it's like he signed that contract, then did cocaine in the bathroom, and then they're like drug tests. Like it's fucking nuts.
Oh, dude, no, yeah. I mean, wrestling has a huge. the 80s, a bunch of baseball players tested positive for cocaine, and that means they were doing cocaine. You guessed it, during the games.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they
Because
really tried to make them not test positive, but people
who's
like,
the
yeah,
who's the guy that was on Seinfeld? Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez talks about Daryl Strawberry just did coke in the dugout, which I got to
yeah.
tell you, how boring is a game of baseball that the players are like, I'm getting ripped. I'm doing some fucking lines of
Well, that
Charlie.
was a that's a real big whatever. But anyway, during the 60s, there was a borderline what was it? It's borderline 100% of people did cocaine in baseball because there's so many games and you have to pay attention for so long that everyone was just doing meth so they could
Yeah, yeah,
pay
yeah.
attention and not just be bored. It'd be like, that
Dylan,
was a strike. And instead of arguing, you'd be like, yeah, man, there's too many of these. Why don't I just skip some? Can I skip some? Why do I have to do all these games?
Dylan, I want you to apologize. They were not taking meth. They were taking black beauty amphetamines, which I think are probably worse because they weren't smoking it. They were like Mickey Mantle was taking handfuls of amphetamine tablets and then I assume biting through a baseball bat.
That's sick.
I'm just going to say this about athletes in the 60s. They were like, um, a corpse in 2023 is healthier than like baseball players in the 60s. You look at like what Mickey Mantle did to his body. He's like, well, he took speed every day, and when he wasn't drinking, he was shitting on a baby. And then they replaced his liver. He stabbed himself in that new liver, and then just went, I like it when it's damaged, and drank through that one. He fucking rules. Fuck yeah.
I do like that people would be like, he was cheating. What'd he do? Jog occasionally. That's a performance advantage. Anyway, here's a man who did not have a performance advantage, but still sped ahead of his own brother, Emilio,
Oh
Charlie
my
Sheen.
God. Fuck you, Mighty Ducks, you piece of shit.
Can we
Oh,
give a tiny little rundown of Charlie Sheen's career up to the meltdown?
Charlie Sheen was a hot boy in the 80s. Oh my God, he was the rebel. He was the kid who smoked in Ferris Bueller. He appeared in what are a bunch of what are called Brat Pack films with the two Coreys. By the way, Corey Feldman has accused Charlie Sheen of raping Corey Haim on the set of, I think the movie was Joshua or Lucas, the set of Lucas, pardon me. And Charlie Sheen has denied these claims, as have a variety of other people, including Corey Haim's own mom, and was like, Corey Feldman is misremembering the story. It was this other guy who has already been charged with that crime. Why did he make a documentary? It was one of the most dark things I've read in the entire research of this. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, very dark. But yeah, basically, Charlie Sheen was a movie star in the 80s and early 90s. Giant drug problem. Constantly, Martin Sheen would be appearing on Entertainment Tonight in those years and being like, I don't know what to do about Charlie. And you always are like, man, Martin, you are a good actor because when you were playing a character, you seem like the coolest, most dynamic man ever. And you in an interview, you seem like you are really not fun. Not like just preachy and like the most, maybe you don't want to have that soda because you're gonna fucking die. And you're like, all right, Martin, you had a heart attack and filmed Apocalypse Now. How about you get off my fucking dick? Anyway, thank you. Then it's the 90s. He just does a bunch of drugs, pretends to be sober a bunch of times. Then he gets on to Two and a Half Men. This is a period of time where sitcoms and television they were like, these ratings have gone down, not understanding what streaming was about to do and that the ratings were about to go down so much more drastically. And Two and a Half Men is this fucking runaway hit because, and this is going to sound crazy, it was the first time a movie star of Charlie Sheen's caliber just did a TV show. And what that did inadvertently is they were like, you see that crackhead? We're going to give that guy a fucking $1 million a week. What's going to happen? I mean, pretty much exactly what you think is going to happen is going to happen. It's just going to take slightly longer than you'd realize. Charlie is sober for the first part of that show, and then guess what? Charlie, the Mean Sheen man, comes into town, and it's time to get fucking nuts. Now, the problem that he has is Chuck Lorre is apparently a real big dick and is a sober guy and fucking hates that Charlie is smoking crack and then just doing his show. So they keep getting into a fight. And this is building up to the meltdown where Charlie Sheen keeps attacking various porn stars and ex-wives. He's apparently has porn stars on set he's having sex with. He's smoking crack openly. He keeps telling John Cryer to get prostitutes, which he does. the kid who on the show converts to Christianity, and I kind of think it's because he's like 11 and he just sees Charlie Sheen fucking a porn star through that weird angle.
That's fucked
just
up. I didn't think about the fact that there's a child around the whole time.
There's a child.
He's like, I'm fucking doing crack. Mick Jagger can't touch me. And this kid starts trying to learn grade 6 science.
Charlie, do you know how to play Uno? I know how to play Uno, dos, tres, racks of crock in my fucking nose, bro.
Let's multiply. What does 6 crack rocks times 6 crack rocks make? Charlie, want more crack? Woo!
And so it all culminates in. Now I'm going to tell you what Charlie Sheen said is what caused it, which is Charlie Sheen was hospitalized because he smoked a bunch of crack, and it started affecting his internal organs, which is just holy shit. What is this guy? Fucking
That's
British?
Cool. That's cool.
That's correct. It is cool, Dylan, as long as you know it's cool. Now, he claims what, Dylan, I want you to know. I want to ask you, what does Charlie Sheen claim the reason he was hospitalized? What do you think his reason is? It's the best.
He said it was testosterone replacement.
No. That's the reason for the meltdown. This is the hospitalization before the meltdown.
Women kept fucking nagging him.
You are so close. He was watching the Chappelle show, and it's the sketch where Chappelle plays a blind black man who's in the KKK. And he's
Tyrone Biggums. No, wait, that's not Tyrone Biggums.
No, it's not Tyrone Biggums.
Yeah, the black guy in the KKK. Yeah,
black guy in the KKK, and he went, I laughed so hard I gave myself a hernia, went to the hospital, and then Chuck thought that was a drug overdose, so he sent in the heavies. And it's just like, is that, as someone who has spoken to people that have a cocaine addiction, that right there sounds like the most cocaine addict. Like, I know that you've spoken to a doctor and you have the information, but I have a convoluted story that I'm going to present that seems like it makes way more sense. You're like,
it is fucking this fucking meltdown. So, just to touch on a couple things, like late 80s, Charlie Sheen is like insane. Like the level of star he is, because he's a teen heartthrob, and then he does Platoon, which I think gets nominated for an Oscar. So it's kind of like, what if Zac Efron then just won an Oscar? Like, that's also what you're dealing with, the level of fame.
Also, it's not only imagine Zac Efron won an Oscar for a movie that everyone's dad is like, I'm going to buy that young man a drink. Like, you have to understand.
And Wall Street, and then Wall Street, where it's like,
and then he's in Wall Street. Yeah, he's in the great douche movies. I like Platoon, but anyone who loves Platoon is a Gen X cunt. That's one of those movies that, like, everyone who's like, Platoon rules, and it's like, you did not understand that movie. Like, it's like, yeah. Well, I like to try it, potheads. Like, it's just like, it's a great movie, but it's so fucking dark.
Never seen it.
Oh, Dylan, you would enjoy it. Actually, it's a really nice movie. I think you should watch it with your son.
No.
And stop being friends with me, because if you ever watch that movie with a child, you should be arrested.
I like movies where no one dies. I watched Wall Street, loved it. Gonna watch the second one. Why not?
I haven't watched Wall Street.
Wall Street's great. It's just like if you like Succession, you'll like Wall Street. It's just his dad's like, why don't you get a real job? But his son's like, no, I want to make enough money that I own the moon. And then his dad's like, that's not the point of life. And he's like tits, it isn't, shit dick. That's sick.
There's a perfect.
Then, of course, at the end,
The other thing to also remember about his early 80s fame is it's also Emilio. So his brother is also famous, and it's because of his dad. Like, this is the thing, is it's like they're these movie star making family. And Martin Sheen, you have to remember, Martin Sheen is in Apocalypse Now. And because of the West Wing and stuff like that, it's changed. But like, Martin Sheen was, again, dads of the 80s and 90s are like, fuck yeah, Martin. Fuck yeah, Charlie. Like, it's this weird
Daddy
fade.
had 2 hot sons.
Oh, he had 2 hot sons. One of them went on to be in Mighty Ducks and then make the movie Bobby, which was fine.
Yeah, I guess Emilio Estevez, and of course, there's some. Wait. That's who he is as a movie star. He starts to fade out. Major League does well. He has a couple other hits. He kind of pivots into doing comedy. Hot Shots Part 2. Like, people don't. It's so funny. It's like,
can I just say something about both of the movies you meant? Major League and Hot Shots Part 2 are unsung classics. Major League is the best sports movie of all time. Field of Dreams can
absolutely not
my ass.
Field of Dreams. How is Field of Dreams number 2?
Field of Dreams. Everyone always goes, I love Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams.
Raging Bull. Hoosiers.
Raging Bull is. Hoosiers. Shut the fuck up.
100% Hoosiers.
You're out of your mind.
What are you? It's because you never played sports. That
did
man
play
touched
sports.
those souls.
I absolutely played sports. This is the thing. I had dyspraxia.
What's the
My
Oliver
mom-
Stone one where they just like make
Any
up
Given Sunday?
Any
Oh my
Given
God.
Sunday? That
Any-
one was dope. Here's what I like about Any Given Sunday is Oliver Stone's version of the NFL is a guy's eyeball falls out, it gets crushed in a guy's foot, and they like keep playing the game.
Oh my God. His version of the NFL is, first of all, Oliver Stone, more than any other human being. I fucking hate Oliver Stone is a liar. He is just
Oliver Stone's the fucking. Here's why Oliver Stone's the best is when the Jesse Ventura conspiracy theory show. One of the experts is Oliver Stone's son, and his only credit that makes him an expert in conspiracy theories is that he's Oliver Stone's son.
Yeah, like Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone has essentially just fucked up the JFK assassination conspiracy theory because everyone. I recently was speaking to someone and they kept quoting that film, and I finally had to go, he made stuff up in that. There's a bunch, you know, that whole scene with the bullet and the thing? That's not how that happened. He changed it to work for the movie. That's like, I fucking hate Oliver Stone. He has this new documentary out on nuclear power that literally ignores the fact that when you make nuclear power, the byproduct is you make weapons grade plutonium. And he literally is like, these fucking pussies need to stop bringing up the negatives of nuclear power. I'm a shithead who's probably married to a 20-year-old Thai lady, and I definitely take weird, hard shits.
But Oliver Stone, I mean, it's so funny because Oliver Stone's muse, I mean, you can see this, is all right, Charlie Sheen and Oliver Stone combined to
oh my God,
make
Charlie Sheen
Wall
is
Street
Oliver Stone's muse.
Platoon.
Those are his two, like those, JFK is a banger too.
They were thought to be it was kind of like everyone thought Oliver Stone and Charlie Sheen were going to be the new like fucking Scorsese and De Niro.
And De Niro, yeah.
He ends up casting Tom Cruise in Born on the 4th of July. That then completely destroys their relationship for a while, and they both kind of like make shitty like they both do movies that aren't as well received moving forward. Anyway, that is Charlie Sheen. This is how Charlie Sheen's a star. So now let's get into I want to get into this, which is the history of Charlie Sheen being a piece of shit.
Yes. Why wouldn't we get into this? Go ahead.
This is before the meltdown.
Way before the meltdown. We have.
And this is just a drop in the bucket, I assume.
Oh, yeah. This is just the stuff. Like, bear in mind, Charlie Sheen's current house, where I used to live in Los Angeles, there was a secret rich person neighborhood. They're dotted around the city. And the one that Charlie Sheen lives in was close to my house. And there was a McDonald's in COVID. And if you look on YouTube, there's a bunch of videos of Charlie Sheen just fucked up in a hedge of a McDonald's, just being like, you can get me a quarter pounder. And I was super stoned one night and I walked over there to get a milkshake. And I super stoned said to the person, hey, man, this is a weird question. Has Charlie Sheen been here recently? And the guy was like, yeah, he lives right over there. He's here every night. He's so drunk these days. And I was like, good to know. Go ahead, Dylan.
He's been sober 5 years.
I do. Let me say this right now. Don't believe it.
Maybe off drugs. Maybe he just still gets drunk. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
In 1990, Charlie Sheen shot his then fiancee, Kelly Preston, in the arm during a domestic dispute.
Nuts.
Shot
his wife. That's up there with the Sean Penn held Madonna out of a window by her neck, and everyone's
I don't believe that. We talked about this in another episode. I don't believe that. Sean Penn made that up.
Do you think Sean Penn made that up?
There's no way he can hold a woman with one hand. Sean Penn is not a strong man. There's no way. No, he's like, yeah, I heard there was the domestic dispute and you were both crying. Actually, I held her out the window with one hand.
Know what I like about that?
Did? Yeah, I did. No,
what I like about what you're saying is that would make Sean Penn even angrier than being like, you're a fucking piece of shit. He'd be like,
I'll hold Sean Penn actually out a window with one hand.
Oh my God. I'll hold him out of the window with my fucking dick, that fucking
there you
loser.
Go. Yeah, your dick can grip things.
Oh my God. Sean Penn was insufferable. He's particularly insufferable because LA is a stew and our city council sucks. Sean Penn was the one who provided COVID testing during COVID, and the vaccine rollout in the city was Sean Penn. And so he kept appearing on fucking newspapers in a camo jacket being like, we're out here making sure society is good to its core, which is why we're called core. And fuck off, Sean Penn.
That part I can't be mad at. But maybe when he gave the vaccine, he was like, by taking this, you admit I can hold a woman out a window with one hand.
Yeah, by taking this, you can admit I'm pretty cool, and you have to buy me a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, okay. You add in the fact that she was hurt by my punches. That's probably how it works.
Yeah, yeah.
Added the fact I could hurt someone.
You know, Charlie Sheen shot Kelly Preston. Can you tell people that was me?
Yeah. You are not Suge Knight, and she is not Vanilla Ice. You guys had a domestic dispute, which is abysmal, and obviously Sean Penn's a terrible man for having done that. There's no goddamn way he's strong enough to hold a fucking woman out a window with
Yeah,
one
we're trying to
hand.
hurt him, guys. I don't know if you know this, but this is going to hurt Sean Penn a lot more. Also, we know Sean Penn listens. Anyway,
Yeah, Sean Penn, if you're listening, which I know you are,
if
suck a chub.
Yeah. Hey, bite my chub, bud.
Yeah, you don't
Preston.
even deserve the fully. Anyway, 1995, Charlie Sheen was all over the Heidi Fleiss scandal.
Oh, yes, he was Heidi Fleiss' number one client. Heidi Fleiss, by the way, was the Hollywood madam. Her and an Armenian gentleman she later betrayed were running a very high-level brothel throughout Los Angeles that had a lot of high-level clients, and also dated Tom Sizemore. Crazy time.
How did Charlie Sheen deal with this? This is very important.
I'm going to assume smoked crack and then was like, yo, I did do that, and it's awesome. I think he was pretty like,
that is it. No, that is totally it. Everyone else was like, I really need to seek therapy. I don't know why. And then he was like, he spent 50 grand on prostitutes in 1 year, and he was like, yeah, because it's good. Any other questions? Oh, and then
no. That's not specifically what he said. What he specifically said was, you spent $50. What is it like spending 50 grand on prostitutes? And he's like, hey, man, he did the classic line of like, hey, you're not paying them to be there. You're paying them to go away. Ah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, God.
And he was at the trial. He testifies he preferred the cheerleader type, which I assumed was not asked a question of.
Yeah, like I assume.
How much money do you spend? I like cheerleaders.
Yeah, I like it when they look like they're still in high school. Mr.
Yeah,
Sheen,
that's what the implication
that's what he
said.
I
like it when they're in their teens. Sorry,
what? Like, just both of the lawyers look at each other like, what are we supposed to do here? He's like, it's cool, right? He's like,
dude, I think the hottest thing is when a woman has no passport. Yum time.
Yeah. You know what's really cool is when you just have their identification and control them financially, so they just have to hang out with you.
I can't pronounce the country you're from, but I know you have no money. That's hot.
What the fuck is Canada?
1996. What did he do? He assaults his girlfriend.
Yes, he does.
Charged with misdemeanor battery. Pleads no contest. 2 years of probation. So now we're talking about. Go for it.
What a time it was to be a celebrity in the 90s. In that you can
untouchable.
Do you understand that if this was now, Twitter would be on fire? Charlie Sheen's literally in a courtroom smoking a cigarette, being like, "I like him fresh," and everyone's like, "He likes them fresh. At least he's honest." And then like,
that gives us a movie idea. Clueless.
Yeah. We're clueless about how he's a monster, and these girls are clueless about how they shouldn't be that close to Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. He goes to rehab in 98 because his dad gets him to. Second wife, Denise Richards. So he goes through a bunch of sobriety.
Wild thing
Denise Richards
herself.
Oh, buddy. Announces they're divorcing. There's a bitter custody battle. She claims he had physically and verbally abused her and threatened to kill her. As a result, she gets a restraining order.
You're missing something else. She also claimed that she saw him looking at gay porn, and then child porn, and this is to Charlie Sheen's credit. He was like,
"That's wild."
Oh yeah. And then he went to the FBI with all of his devices and was like, "Search it. Let's go." And it was one of those things where I know that energy, which is Charlie Sheen is like, yeah, I smoke crack. Yeah, I'll beat up ladies. Yeah, I will hire a bunch of sex workers and trap them in my house. But I draw a line somewhere. That's too far. You know, that's the energy that felt. Or
also like the fact that in the mid 2000s, gay porn and child porn were
this is the other thing.
Like that fucking that makes her
it's so insane that Denise Rogers is like, you watch child porn? No, I didn't. All right, yeah, he dodged that bullet. Kid porn, and then you're like,
well, the way you presented it, he was like kid porn and gay porn, as if it's same line.
That's how it was presented in the article I read.
That's fucking crazy.
Like, this is the thing that people talk about. Like, it's like, oh man, society is different. It's like, yeah, society is. There were polls in like 2005 that were like, America will get gay marriage in 2050, and it's like, what the fuck?
Also, it's like, if someone's watched child porn, you can stop there. You go like, he watched child porn, and I saw him shoplift once.
He wants to fuck kids, and just as bad is also maybe bisexual.
Experimented with marijuana.
He beat up my dad and then also didn't tip someone who did his laundry.
2009, he's arrested in Colorado. More domestic violence against New Life.
This is Brooke Mueller. This is the beginning of the meltdown. So this is the beginning of the meltdown. Assaults his wife. Now, a couple of things to also remember. At some point in here, Charlie Sheen gets diagnosed with HIV. We do not know when, but that is a part of this that he will not acknowledge, but it clearly is because of the timeline of when he says he got diagnosed.
Because he admits it in 2014.
Admits it in 2015, and he said it was 4 to 5 years before. So it's somewhere around 2011, which is the height of the meltdown.
Yes, because this goes on like he's pretty much on a 2-year drug binge, but the show is so successful. He's getting $2 million an episode.
James,
and I think another part of the secret sauce of the Chuck Lorre shows is legit. This is Big Bang Theory. This is, of course, 2.5 Men. Is that when Arrested Development came along, everyone was like, "Oh, this is really cool, the faux like documentary style they're doing this in." But everyone who was a baby boomer was like, "Yeah, but I like a laugh track." And Chuck Lorre's like, "Here's a laugh track." That is such an underrated part of it.
That's more than an underrated part of it, and you're completely right. Is he makes trad sitcoms specifically for a slightly older demographic. That's why he's on CBS, because CBS, with its like footprint, basically still caters to an older audience in prime time. So that's why they still have those sitcoms. And Chuck Lorre literally owns the fucking moon.
Oh yeah, baby.
And basically, he can't do any wrong. We're building up. It's October 2010. He is found intoxicated and naked in a trash hotel room in New York City. He is hospitalized and later admits drug abuse. 2011, January, production of 2.5 Men is halted so Sheen can go to a rehab facility. He begins publicly criticizing Chuck Lorre in radio interviews. Now, why this is important is Chuck Lorre is an AA guy. So if you are in the middle of a very intense drug binge, the person you're going to hate the most is an AA person, because they know what to say to make you feel judged. They know how to see through your bullshit. And they're not going to just let you keep doing what you want to do, which is drink and do drugs. So you're going to attack that guy, which leads to February of 2011. What radio show does our boy go on, Dylan?
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Alex Jones. Baby.
Yes, it's the first appearance of Alex Jones on the program. Not the last, to be sure, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2011. Alex Jones is so soon about to just ruin his entire life by not shutting the fuck up about the Sandy Hook massacre and claiming it was fake. But before he gets to that, he gets widespread media coverage. Looking back, what a fucking way to spread the bullshit of Alex Jones, because what Alex Jones did in the 2000s, just a sidebar of how they know each other, is anytime a celebrity questioned 9/11, Alex Jones praised them as brave and would talk about how, like, this is what we need to do. And the thing with celebrities is not all of them are very political. And they're like Roseanne Barr and Charlie Sheen, who get a lot of shitty press. And one person in the media is saying to them, "You're right. That's such a good idea. You know what else you should do is make sure that if there's any black people or Jews, you kill them." And so Charlie Sheen and fucking stupid Alex Jones becomes friends. When Charlie Sheen's all fucked up on crack, who are you going to call? The guy who's fucked up on booze. Yay! Goes on the radio show, calls Chuck Lorre Chaim Levitz a bunch of times. Like, it's very, oh boy.
Calls him by his real name, and also
no, he doesn't. No, that's not his real name. That's his bar mitzvah name. His real name
Jesus Christ
is Charles Levine, and so the Chaim is the Hebrew version of Charles that he said he read on a piece of paper and was to be a joke. And I'm like, was it? Okay,
that's bad.
Not good. It is not good. At this point,
he's just trying to get under his skin, like Chuck Lorre got under his skin completely. By being like, "Hey, here's a book you should read." Because
exactly. Chuck Lorre was like, "Hey, maybe you don't want to be putting all these chemicals in your body because you have 7 children and are going to die." The other thing is Chuck Lorre has all these vanity cards after his shows, one of which was Big Bang Theory, and it just talked about how he's a sober person, and if he dies before Charlie Sheen, he's going to be really upset. And Charlie Sheen is like, "Fuck this fucking guy."
The other thing is, Yeah, so he goes on. Well, which one was the first one? Was it the Today Show or Good Morning America that was the first one? Because also the other crazy thing and the hint
So it's
that
Good
he's
Morning
clearly
America.
using is that he does these in the morning. He's like, I can't be up.
Yeah.
I'm fucking up till noon. I'm not. I'm sleeping till midnight.
Yeah. So no, that's very, very funny. So I think it's Today Show. I think Today Show and Good Morning America are pretty close to each other afterwards. And by the way, those are where we get winning, winner, chicken dinner, Adonis DNA, Tiger Blood. What are some of the like? Oh, unplug this.
I'll read you up the. I'll read you.
I'm
up
on
the
a drug
quotes.
called Charlie Sheen. Oh God damn it! Read them off, baby.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm not bipolar. I'm by winning. I win
That's
here. I
right.
win there. What now? I have a disease. Bullshit. I cured it with my brain. That was when asked about how you were on drugs. Now you're not. I'm tired of pretending I'm not special. I'm tired of pretending I'm not a total bitchin' rock star from Mars.
I mean, that is pretty awesome thing to say. I got to tell you, I don't.
The last time I did drugs, I did more than anyone who ever lived after.
I mean, I got to tell you, I actually probably believe that at this point.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And basically, it's like, well, how can you keep doing drugs and not die? I don't know. I got tiger blood in my veins.
This is the other thing is these journalists really, this is the thing with the Charlie Sheen meltdown is it is the appetizer for the Donald Trump presidential candidacy and his presidency. In that the way to stop this is if a journalist just went, no. What do you mean? No, you don't have that. You're a drunken loser and you smell bad. What? Like you directly confront these guys. Like, I don't understand this whole like, well, that's a bit ridiculous. Like, just be like, you're a crackhead and you stink, and that's Brie Olson, and I have jacked off to her a lot, but I'm going to say this right now. She's got something scary in her eyes, and I don't know who the fuck that other lady is, but if anyone admits to being a graphic designer in 2011, you fucking kill him. You know what I mean?
I think the secret sauce the secret sauce that makes these great is the fact that he does them on Good Morning America and the Today Show.
Yes.
He's not doing these on 2020. He's not doing this on like interviews like where the interviewer will confront them, like the friggin' R. Kelly interview where R. Kelly comes out and he's directly confronted with his crimes. He's not doing that. He's doing these to like
piece interviews
exactly.
And they're like
the lighting is really bright. The person has like perfectly coiffed hair. They're in a great mood, even though they've been up since fucking 2 a.m. And Charlie Sheen has also been up since 2 p.m. the previous day.
So Dylan,
ripping drugs.
I have a question for you. We're both stand-up comedians, so we've been around a lot of addicts. And what I realize is a lot of people just aren't able to be like, oh, that's what it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I walk in and certain people I could be like, why is, this guy's being such a fucking erratic asshole? And I'm like, yeah, he's on coke. What do you like? Yeah. You didn't know that guy does coke? Like, that's what it feels like. And I feel like for these interviews, they just needed someone to be like, yeah, bro, I met a crackhead before. Let's move on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's even like, I completely agree. And it's just a very interesting manipulation of the media that I would be interested to know if he was aware of or he just lucked out. Because I got to tell you, I don't know how savvy Charlie Sheen is. I would say Trump is this savvy, but I don't think fucking crackhead McPornstar really fucking knows shit from shit.
Well, this is what I was saying off the hop, which was I'm not a journalist, obviously, but like it is crazy they let this man on television. Like there's got to be some sort of journalistic ethics that are completely used up here because good lord, this dude's fucking annihilated on television. If
you're uncomfortable with that, how this ends is so interesting because no one talks about how this ends, and it's the most fascinating part.
We'll get to that after the break.
We are going to get after that after the break. We're going to talk more about the meltdown after the break. Dylan, enjoy. So Dylan, when we left off, our boy Char, he's having quite a time. He's smoking crack. He's getting fired. He's a horrible man. He's giving interviews. Then what happens?
He gets fired.
He gets fired. The Chuck Lorre and the people at CBS go, it's not worth the ratings to keep this fucking crackhead around. Fire him. And is that a Dick Cheney mug I've been meaning to ask, by the way?
Yeah, it's an inauguration mug, buddy.
Where did you get that? I want one so badly.
I got it for 50 cents at a Salvation Army.
I got a Nixon mug that I fucking love.
Well, that's not it. That's a shitty fucking mug. Anyway, tune into the Patreon.
Take that back right now. Take that back about my mug or this show is over. Take it back now.
Never. What does he do after? What's the ultimate crazy guy thing you can do?
He goes on a fucking stand-up comedy tour, of course.
Arena tour. And
Arena
it's
tour.
just people show up, they're seeing Charlie Sheen. He has no act. He just goes, you guys are fucking pieces of shit. Fuck you for paying for this, asshole.
So what's so much funnier is what happens is he books this tour, but like any manic episode, by the time he's doing the tour, he's now dropping into the dark part, which is the worst time to do a live show. So it starts off as, I don't know if you were you listening to podcasts during this tour?
No, I knew he was doing a tour, but like I only listened to like infotainment podcasts. So enlighten me. What was happening?
So Mark Maron, a bunch of bigger comedians from LA very quickly were called in to help write an act. And then eventually Russell Peters, most of the tour was Russell Peters just talking to Charlie Sheen. Because what happened is they announced this and it sold the fuck out. Like Charlie Sheen in the moment when like Tiger Blood and Winning, like that was culture. The fucking 2011 was really weird. If people weren't still yelling "Why so serious" from fucking The Dark Knight, they were yelling "Winning, winning."
Yeah.
And so we sold out this tour. Mark Maron did Punch Up and went to go talk to him about it on the first night, I think, in New York, and just kept talking about how much people were smoking cigarettes. And it was like, that's what sticks in my mind is Mark Maron could not. He's like, I have never seen people smoke so many cigarettes inside. Like he was crazy.
Yeah, that was the thing I was watching on the Good Morning America and Today Show interview is he's smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, this guy's for sure ashing in a pop can. And nothing says like this guy started smoking inside without anyone telling anyone other than like, I guess you can use this pop can or a mug.
Well, that's his house. That's the other thing is it's in his house. He's smoking. Okay. It's in his house. But what's crazy is that I remember seeing that, and we were smokers at the time, and I remember being like, "Holy fuck!" That's the first time I've seen a cigarette smoked on camera in years.
So,
although by the way, I want you to know something. Watching those interviews, I really wanted a cigarette. There was one moment where he just was like, "Yeah." And I was like, oh, that'd be nice, right? I know exactly what that feels like.
Because the brilliant thing they do to make it look like shitty is he's only smoking the end. Where it's like, if you see someone light a cigarette, take the first drag, you're like, okay, that's cool. But if you see someone just like
the end,
you're like,
it's complete. It's an interesting thing. Now that I'm a weed smoker, I'll smoke it right down to the filter because I just want to get high. But a cigarette, 3/4 of the way, get that in the ashtray. What are you fucking doing?
So anyway, yes, he goes on this tour. By the end, it's cobbled together into something because he has Russell Peters just interview him the whole time.
He has Russell Peters.
Much like the Mike Tyson. If you want to like what it's like listen to the Mike Tyson podcast where Mike Tyson just gets so fucking high.
Oh, the Mike Tyson podcast.
Henry Cejudo has to just talk the whole time.
We're not going to do it next week, but at some point we're doing the Mike Tyson podcast because it is fucking insane. They won't release it, but there's an episode where him and Alex Jones just did mushrooms that it's all I want to listen to. It's just,
I just don't see like there's no theater in watching a man get super wasted and then just like stare at the ceiling while a guy goes, so Mike, was it nice when you were a boxer? And he goes, yes.
I think what you're forgetting at that time when I felt of that woman, that's the memory I like.
No, that's too much of a sentence. Yeah,
that's actually true. Like Mike Tyson, the other thing that's crazy about that podcast is when it started, he was way more lucid. Like we've inadvertently been like, let's start a podcast. What's happening with Mike? Oh, you know how boxers all go that kind of weird towards the end where you're like, oh, just whatever you do, don't give him the microphone. He's there now.
I mean, he did say he was going to eat people's children 20 years previous. So I don't know if it's like.
He also, I think, Dylan, you need to remember the whole quote, which is, I'm a dangerous man. I'm going to eat his children. Praise be to Allah. Are you a Muslim? Yeah.
No. My defense is impregnable. I'm ferocious. I'm going to eat your children.
I'm going to say this right now. If you get to a certain level as a boxer, they should just kill you. Nothing has been improved by letting Mike Tyson live low these 30 years. When he
had that one-man show.
Apparently, by the way, that one-man show apparently was like, I know some people that saw it, they said it was exceptional. Someone who works in one-man shows said it was one of the better ones they'd ever, because what they basically said was it was Mike Tyson not taking a bunch of THC, and it was 10, 15 years ago. So he was lucid, and like he apparently addresses the sexual assault in the play, which you hope he does it in a Nanette way, but I think he probably did it in a Howard Stern way.
So I guess you could
She
say
was hot. I do what I please. Mike Tyson.
we can break the meltdown, the two meltdown interviews as such. Charlie Sheen goes on there, and what he wants to do in his head, what everyone sees is this guy's ripped on fucking everything.
Yeah.
But what his goal was, I'm fine. Just because I'm on shit doesn't mean I didn't do a great job. Chuck Lorre's a fucking asshole. He's a piece of shit. Everyone hates him. AA is dumb.
I actually say Charlie Sheen has a point here, which is, so they go on a limited hiatus in January, and Chuck Lorre says to him when he goes, I can work. This is a hernia thing. And Chuck Lorre says, well, I don't have scripts. And Chuck Lorre says the same thing in June and has since cited that he was burnt out on the show as well. And it was sort of a lot of things building and coming. I'm not excusing any of Charlie Sheen's behavior. I think that Chuck Lorre was absolutely in the right, and how Charlie Sheen behaved was really inappropriate. That said, I think Chuck Lorre, based on what you literally hear the name Chuck Lorre in Hollywood, and one person goes, that guy's all right, and 8 people go, buh. Kevin Pollak has openly said, I will never work in television as long as Chuck Lorre is still around. And it's like, Kevin Pollak, you're not that famous. You should work in television. Also, Chuck Lorre doesn't make that much television.
Chuck Lorre almost is television now, to be fair, because television is just for 60-year-olds.
And it's like, I don't let me say this. Chuck Lorre is giving money to Billy Gardell. Billy Gardell, I think, is literally the nicest human being in all of entertainment. And I'll tell this story. I went to the wrong comedy club when showcasing for my now manager and had to take a almost $100 Uber and bribe the Uber driver to pay traffic laws when I was very broke to showcase for this manager. And I walked in sweating, walked on stage, did it. It was all fine. And, but it was the most fucked moment in my life. And Billy Gardell walked up to me and said, how much was your Uber after hearing the story? He's like, I want to see the receipt. And I was like, this is really fucked up. And I showed it to him. And then Billy Gardell paid for my Uber. I'm going to say this right now. You pay Billy Gardell, Chuck Lorre? You're all right in my book, which I know you're wondering about. I know you're sitting in your palatial giant estate atop Hollywood going, I wonder how that guy who pissed in the bushes of Griffith Park 3 days ago, wonder if he respects me. I do, because you employ Billy Gardell.
2014. This is good because all right. So he has
you're
a
missing
show
something.
called Anger Management.
So
okay.
That show is presented on the internet like it just happened to come out. What happened was FX was launching FX as this sort of new HBO, and what we have to present is Charlie Sheen was the amount of discussion over Donald Trump in the years he was president. That's what Charlie Sheen was like in the winter of 2011. Everyone knew about it. Everyone talked about it. And FX was like, we'll give him a fucking show. And Charlie Sheen was like, I'm going to make more money than Chuck Lorre. So the deal they signed was first season, 10 episodes, second season, 90 episodes, bringing it up to a syndication level of episodes that Charlie Sheen could then make a bunch of money on and attack Chuck Lorre. Is clearly the cokehead logic they presented. The problem is by the time they get to production, Charlie Sheen's manic episode is over. He is now a depressed drug addict and now having to make a comedy show, which is not great. And they end up making the 100 episodes. Selma Blair leaves because she's like, I can't work with a drug addict who just doesn't show up. And Charlie Sheen is like, I mean, I don't know if you've heard of me, but this is kind of the deal. And she was like, all right, I'm leaving. And they bring in Martin Sheen to be a part of it. And then it ends and Charlie Sheen just hangs out.
Yeah, it was the, what do you call it? Is the RC Cola of sitcoms, where it's like, we're just trying to be Two and a Half Men. Two and a Half Men continues with Ashton Kutcher. And Charlie Sheen starts his anger management show about a year later. Both of them kind of stink, peter off. Of course, Chuck Lorre finds Big Bang Theory, which is one of the biggest shows ever.
He already has Big Bang Theory, but it has not become the big thing ever. The other thing is at this time is a very big moment for the Comedy Central roasts. And there is the Charlie Sheen roast in the fall of 2011, which features Patrice O'Neal in sort of a career-defining moment. Patrice O'Neal has now become Jesus of comedy in some circles. He was not a popular comedian when he was alive. This was the moment he broke out of that shell. He had, and then he had Elephant in the Room, and then subsequently died.
Was this the one where he just riffed?
Yes, this is the one where he riffed. This is the one where he goes, William Shatner, I didn't realize you're just like an old racist man. It's the best. Patrice O'Neill, by the way, that's how you do a roast. It's so genuine and nice and so mean. Also, it's very fun. That roast is also the beginning of the end of everyone liking Amy Schumer, because Amy Schumer made a very mean joke about Steve-O's friend dying. And this was also the time where the entire internet was like, all right, fuck this bitch. And then just went after her.
Was it? I don't know. We'll do an Amy Schumer episode, but I think a lot of it is just like, I don't know, whatever. We're talking about Amy Schumer another time.
Amy Schumer, it's rank and awful sexism, but also Amy Schumer, like, she does not deserve the hate, but it's also this weird sort of thing of like, Amy Schumer looks like what angry people on the internet think an asshole lady looks like, so they're just like, get her! Like, it's just such a fucking shame.
All right, so Charlie Sheen tries to get back on 2.5 Men. Does that work out?
It does.
Oh, yeah.
Kidding.
And then now it's still on.
Opposite day. I fucking got you. Dylan, did I get you?
You got me. 2015, good. Charlie Sheen reveals he's HIV positive.
Can I just say, where were you when you found this out? I remember where I was.
I remember the winning thing came on so strong. I never saw the interview. I just, when you don't see a moment in pop culture, so you don't see the original thing, which is like, for this show, I was the first time I've watched these interviews ever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
I only knew people walking around saying winning, and I was like, well, I don't know what that is, but I hate that.
So I have friends from the suburbs. I had a friend who was into Charlie Sheen, got a Tiger Blood t-shirt. I told him, do not buy tickets to the live show. It will be bad. And he was like, I don't know, man, it's going to be awesome.
It reminded me of, do you remember my friend Mike never saw the movie Old School? He just saw people
yelling, "You're my boy blue."
Old School.
Yeah.
You're my boy blue. And then the other one, the wedding singing thing where the guys, I fucking need you, Mo. And Mike, because he had never seen Old School, thought that most of the movie was about that wedding band. And he finally saw it and he was like, that was just like a throwaway thing. And that's what winning was. He says winning like twice. And the Tiger Blood thing is such a throwaway as well. The banging 7-gram rocks is the one where I'm like, okay, well, why wasn't people screaming I was banging 7-gram rocks? Why did they stick with winning and Tiger Blood? But it's just weird to watch it back because I never saw this. So anyway, that is to say, the HIV positive thing, by the time that comes out, I don't care about this. I couldn't care less about this man. Like he became so lame so quickly. We just talked about Epic Mealtime last week. That was exactly what it was, where it was like, this man's drug addiction and maybe death to me is like as annoying as bacon now.
Yeah, that's exactly the correlation. I would completely agree. What was interesting was it came out, and I just remember my flatmate was like, Charlie Sheen has AIDS. And I was just like, I remember just thinking, being like, yeah, that's the end run of this, isn't it? Yeah,
it's not like, of course. Emilio Estevez has AIDS. Oh my God.
That would be fucking shocking. If it was Emilio Estevez had AIDS, I'd be like, fucking stop the Mighty Duck 4. The Pret Squad.
This guy's physically assaulted every single woman he's ever been in a relationship with, and he has AIDS. Why is the last part surprising?
Oh yeah, and it turns out that he's been sued by a bunch of women that he didn't disclose he had HIV to.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, what a
$50,000 on prostitutes. Do you think those were all protected?
Yeah.
Do you think that however much he needed to raw dog those prostitutes?
Now. When you're at 40 grand on prostitutes, you're gonna start getting pretty nuts. Like you're like, we gotta make it to 50 grand.
Yeah.
I got a t-shirt gun and I got a fucking kiddie pool filled with cream corn. What are we gonna do? It's not gonna be sex, and you're gonna be the one holding the t-shirt gun.
Here's some other quotes from those interviews. I'm different. I just have a different constitution, a different brain, a different heart. I got Tiger Blood, man. And then here's these. It's because there's other quotes. I have no idea why that didn't catch on. I'm an F-18, bro. I will destroy you in the air, and I will deploy my ordnance to the ground.
Can I just say, what's up with fucking dudes? Anyone who's a cokehead really gets into military hardware. Is something I've noticed.
You're going fast, bro. You're going fucking fast.
That's the thing, but it's a very interesting sort of situation. They always love military hardware. There's also a use of words that's very amphetamine addict. Like it's just the idea of like they speak in like weird colloquial catchphrases. Like the 80s makes way more sense when you're like, bro, they were on cocaine. Like the Reagan administration didn't figure out that cocaine was coming into Florida until like 83. And that's only when they started putting boats in the water. Before that, you could sail cocaine in from Colombia, and they did. Like, do you know how bad you have to be at guarding your fucking ports that a guy in a sailboat sailed from Colombia with blow, and you weren't like, why the fuck is this guy in a schooner in the middle of the fucking Caribbean? Pull him over.
Yeah, especially since your whole thing is law and order, and you're like, I can't. Hey,
imagine
no crime out here except for that guy in that nice sailboat.
Oh,
that guy seems to be having a great time.
Let me tell you how I knew that guy was not on cocaine. He wasn't wearing a shirt, but he was wearing a captain's hat, meaning he's a captain.
2011, when Charlie Sheen did that thing, I just have a note here that says this man could have beaten Obama if he ran. If he was like, I'm fucking Republican now, everyone would have been like, yeah, bro.
I think Donald Trump, someone saw what Charlie Sheen did and went, Donald Trump does that. Like, it's, you look at it in our culture and it's like Charlie Sheen is Donald Trump. It's the same personality. Like, the only difference is instead of saying winning, Donald Trump went like, I don't know, Mexicans are rapists or whatever. I don't know. I got a big dick, you know? And it's the same people that were like, I win. I have tiger blood. Were the same ones that were like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that same kind of like, yeah, I like someone who.
I don't know. I think Charlie Sheen is not like. So now he's doing podcasts. He's sober at this point, and he's doing podcasts now. And the energy is just like he's a man trying to live, trying to do something. No one will touch him with a 10-foot clown pole. But you know what's coming up? What's being filmed right now?
Documentary.
No. How to Be a Bookie, starring Charlie Sheen, is written by Chuck Lorre.
I know
specifically
this.
For HBO Max.
Yep, they're back together. Chuck Lorre would like more money, and Charlie Sheen.
Why does he need more money?
I think he's nuts. So there's a story.
I guess it's like whatever you do, just you do what you do, and there's no like, okay.
So Chuck Lorre is genuinely a bit of a prick. So why Kevin Pollak will not, maybe he only just won't work with Chuck Lorre, but I remember him saying I won't work in television because of Chuck Lorre, which if you ever listen to Kevin Pollak's chat show, which was a great podcast that now done, you wouldn't be surprised that Kevin Pollak takes an asshole stand like that. That said, Kevin Pollak was on the show Mum, written by Chuck Lorre, or a show run by whatever. The show The Good Wife does a surprise kill in their final episode. And supposedly Chuck Lorre knows that showrunner and was like, that guy's not pulling off a surprise. I'll pull off a surprise, and just killed off Kevin Pollak's character for no reason and fucked the show because he's like, I like that guy, and then wanted to bring the character back, and they were like, no, he's dead. So Chuck Lorre is nuts, but of course he's How to Be a Bookie. Of course he's putting Charlie Sheen back in the thing. Because also we'll keep talking about Chuck Lorre. Chuck Lorre's smart. He wants more money.
One, it's very, very good strategy to have
such
Charlie
good PR.
Sheen as a fucking bookie on a show. That's great.
Also, by the way, anyone who looks like who looks like a haggard piece of shit more than fucking Charlie Sheen at this point?
Yeah, he very much has aged very bad. He's definitely he's one of the only celebrities that I would say looks 57, and he is 57. Like, he just looks.
I mean, I think
like
that's being rude to other 57-year-olds. He looks exactly what like a guy who spent 50 grand on prostitutes in 1 year and then didn't get sober would look like. Where it's just like, bro, did you at one point take off all your skin and then put on a Charlie Sheen skin suit over your skeleton? Yeah. He's like, okay. Yeah, you look like Jabba the Hutt's weird fuzzy friend.
It should be said too, you can listen to him on a lot of podcasts, a lot of long form podcasts talking about sobriety, and of course, the energy is completely different, obviously, from those interviews.
He's one of those Hollywood figures that appears on a lot of Scandinavian podcasts. And like Scandinavian people and Dutch people, for some reason, come to LA and then just interview like B and C level celebrities by their pool. And Charlie Sheen is definitely like someone that would be interviewed by Patrick Bet David like a year and a half ago. That's Charlie Sheen. Also, I am sure Charlie Sheen either has a Patrick Bet David or a Vlad. Who are those two fucking guys? You know who I'm talking about? Those two weird YouTube interviewers, Patrick Bet David or Vlad TV.
There's
clearly there is a rich guys from another industry.
He's on the Entourage guys podcast. There's one of those, and I guess the dude who made Entourage, I don't know his name, does not let him talk a lot. Doesn't let anyone talk. great.
Charlie Sheen doesn't let him talk, or Doug Ellen doesn't let him talk?
Doug Ellen just talks, and it's crazy. I couldn't listen to it.
Oh my God.
It is truly it's truly like, I wouldn't say, because obviously we're old now, so you wouldn't even say dad, but it's like a bunch of 50-somethings with a fucking podcast.
What it is it's a bunch of cousins that were slightly older than me that I always kind of was like, you guys kind of stink. And then they're like in their 50s and they're like, yeah, I don't cheat on my wife, but I do fuck my secretary. And you're like, yeah, my suspicions were confirmed. Y'all fucking blow. That's the always vibe. Can I just say this about the show Entourage? That is one of the craziest rewatches you can treat yourself to. First 40 seconds.
There's full slurs in the first 4 episodes. There's full slurs.
There is full slurs. There's literally the evidence that a woman cheated on her partner is she has her period and doesn't want to fuck.
Oh yeah,
and then it's right. It's treat yourself. Just walk in and be like, when was this made? 1995, 2008. Fucko.
Oh yeah, and then the guy cheats on the period lady gets cheated on. And then he goes, oh, wow, I want to leave. And she's like, fuck me again. And he's like, all right.
There's that.
It's fine because she's a bitch.
It's fine because she's he cheated on his girlfriend, but it's okay because she sucks. And he met a hot slut.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's, it's very the bodies aren't it's always good to watch old television shows and not even Entourage, just anything like that, because you get to see even what how bodies, the typical bodies have changed. And Entourage is definitely all of these women, women are just hanging out and they're 6 feet tall and 100 exact pounds.
There's a 30-minute episode where they see a woman who weighs 125 pounds and the characters Turtle and Johnny Drama start throwing up in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard and then try and get knives and kill themselves. It's a really graphic, odd episode where the actor who plays Turtle actually cut his own wrist in the center of on the Sunset Strip. They didn't even film this. There's just photographs. He just did this because a 120-pound woman wandered onto the set, and he's got his wrist, and he's just trying to saw it with a spoon, going, ah.
Yeah, they had to get a new turtle because he kills himself with a spoon.
He kills himself because he
takes both his eyes out and fucking shoots himself in the chest.
He saw a woman eat a piece of bread, and he shit on his own dick.
Yeah, he shit and he ate it until he ate his own shit until his insides went all toxic or whatever happens, and then he shit those out and he died. Anyway, John, next week, what are we doing?
I don't know who we're doing next week. Who would you like to do? I was the advocate for Charlie Sheen. I'm really happy we did this one. I fucking think Charlie Sheen stinks. Also, let's all enjoy that Deal and has shifted his camera slightly so we can see the mirror. It means he's got a little shelf and he's got some pens and a shelf.
Let's do straight up 2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh.
Let's do it. Yeah, fuck yeah, buddy.
We're gonna do 2 girls, 1 cup.
Yeah, 100%. That's mine. That's what I got to pick. You picked Charlie Sheen. I picked 2 girls, 1 cup.
All right.
I don't know how we're gonna get an entire episode out of that. We'll think of a way to frame it. But fucking 2 guys, 1 podcast, 2 girls, 1 cup.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I've never watched 2 girls, 1 cup.
You never watched it.
Never watched it.
All right, cool. 2 girls, 1 cup. / try not to come challenge next week.
Challenge not accepted.
Yeah, you're gonna bust for sure.
Of course,
these women Dylan, eat their own shit.
I say this, and I also say this about 9/11. If they didn't want me to jack off, why did they do something so hot?
I have no idea how we're gonna make a fucking episode out of this. Well, let's try. 2 girls.
I don't know how we're gonna make an episode without definitely going to jail. There's no way. There's no way that we don't.
We're gonna have to film out. We're gonna have to film a fucking. Oh shit! That's the fucking sickest thing we can do, bro. Is fucking you watch 2 girls, 1 cup.
We're gonna watch the. Next
you have a reaction.
Will begin with me for the first time ever.
That is sick.
Watching 2 girls, 1 cup. That's how
this is 2008 YouTube. This is all it was people reacting to 2 girls, 1 cup.
No, it's earlier than that. I think it was because 2000. I think it was around. Was it 2008? It was right around the. Yeah, it would have been 2008. Christmas. Whatever Christmas was close to the financial crash was when everyone was watching 2 girls, 1 cup. Which, what a metaphor. That sounds right.
That's good. All right. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. 1 sec. I'm gonna see how old these are.
Ladies and gentlemen, while Dylan's looking that up, I would just like to remind you that we love you. And please support us. You can head on over to our social medias at Dylan Gott or at the John Hastings. Also, we will take this moment to announce we are going to be launching a Patreon. And if you would like to donate to that, that would be great. We will be doing probably a bonus episode, and we love you. And if you do not want to donate to our Patreon, go fuck yourself.
15 years ago. So how long is that?
Shit.
That's 2008. Yeah, Marines, 2 girls, 1 cup reactions. 15 years ago, 11 million views. So there it is. 2 girls, 1 cup. Next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please rate and subscribe. We love you. Bye-bye.